This week on The Amazing Race, the teams traveled to India, and following a nail-biting finish to the pit stop, it was the engaged New York couple, Joe and Ian, who were unfortunately eliminated. They join me now via Zoom. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. How are you feeling after watching back last night's episode?
We're feeling okay. We're good. No, we do. We were with a bunch of our fellow cast members last night watching the episode, and past racers as well. And
both winners and non-winners.
winners, and the energy was fantastic. And we received a lot of love, and it was so fun to watch. So we're feeling really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, first question for you. So what were your guys' expectations going into the show? And then would you say that those expectations were true to your actual experience while filming?
I would say that my expectations were like we were going to crush it. I think the reality, and you can see in episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, is that look, it was a lot harder than we thought it was going to be. Like, we consider ourselves to be like relatively fit. We're like in good shape. And we were like, oh, we'll crush these physical challenges. Well, like, yeah, well, I've never carried two mattresses on my head in 110-degree heat and 100% humidity. Like, that is a piece of the
chaotic streets of Vietnam. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like those type of instances where like they truly put you into situations that you haven't and will never be in for the rest of your life. And so it's hard to prepare for that. So I would say, like, going in, we thought we were going to crush it. Coming out of it, we are humbled.
I'd agree with that. And we also went in with the mentality of like, oh, we're New Yorkers. Every day of our lives is fast.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So let's just carry that, speed mentality into the race. Well, there was just as much advantage to the exact opposite strategy of slowing down, being methodical, being detailed, doing it right once. And that was like a pretty big component that we were blindsided by a little bit, I think.
Constantly like reminding ourselves, like, slow down, take your time.
Yeah.
And like as many times as you say that, the adrenaline and the excitement of being on this show that you've loved for so many years, and like now we're getting the chance to do, like, it's hard to prepare yourself for that type of anxiety and stress.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, it just looks anxiety ridden all the way across. So now what would
start to finish?
Start to finish, yes. What would you guys say was probably your biggest hurdle while on the race?
I would say taking a beat. Slowing down, taking a beat. Because like Joe mentioned, our lives, I literally, to get back for this interview, I city biked like 1.5 miles, and it took me like 8 minutes. Like, I'm like Tour de France, like all the time in the city. And like,
France, are you
like
serious?
You can't do that on the race because you're gonna miss like important details. And we did that time and time and time again. So like, I think when we came into this thinking that was going to be advantageous, like, it's a race. Well, it's also like a significant attention to detail too. And like, we missed some of those key points during the race, and it ultimately hurt us significantly on that puzzle piece that kicked us out last night.
Yeah.
And another I think was that I actually think we handled well was the ability to operate, like, not get frazzled, not break and crumble under the stress if things weren't going our way. I mean, of course, this one got a little sometimes, but quickly brought you back, and I think we still overall managed to keep our cool, stay
Mother
calm,
Teresa,
stay collected, like how I live my life, and we handled that pretty well.
Yeah. Okay, so that final leg in India that you guys were a part of, walk me through that finish where you are neck and neck with Morgan and Lena, trying to just get to the end. I feel like that's got to be a huge rush of emotions, knowing that you may go or you may be in last place. So just walk me through that.
I think when we left the puzzle challenge, we were confident we were in last place. Everyone had left the puzzle challenge. We saw Morgan and Lena leave the puzzle challenge at least 45 minutes prior to us. What we didn't know is they didn't finish the puzzle challenge. They just changed detours. So had we known that, like, maybe we would have had like more of a glimmer of hope. But like, we were pretty confident we were last. You always have some hope because you don't know who's getting lost, like who can't find the pit stop, etc.
Yeah, and you learn that from watching previous seasons. There is always hope.
Yeah, we were still sprinting. But yeah, it was super stressful because as soon as we left the puzzle challenge, they were literally leaving in their rickshaw. We were like, oh, we are still very much in
Let's
this.
Go.
And we were already sprinting, so it's not like we were like taking our time. But yeah, like the adrenaline went from like 8.5 to like literally a 10. The heart was pumping.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. I'm curious too. So you guys kind of touched on this a second ago, but I feel like one of the most interesting dynamics we tend to see on the race is romantic couples. And that's because I feel like your relationship is just put in the spotlight. Everything that you've ever tried to work through as a couple is put to the test while on the race. So you touched on this a little bit, but how would you say that you guys worked through that? Because every couple handles it differently.
Well, Ian would say that I'm probably not the best communicator, is what he would say. So going into the race, I think that was something that we knew we'd have to focus on about our relationship that would come into play. And what would I say?
You would probably say that I get too worked up, but I think we both made an effort to like work on those things during the race, and I think that they both resulted in like a very positive outcome. Just has a lot to work on, but here we are.
No. You know what? We got engaged right before the race, and we're still getting married. So
so you're still fine. That's the positive here. That's the important piece. Now, from the viewer perspective, I was really excited for this season because it kind of feels like the old Amazing Race is back. Nothing against the last two seasons, but there was obviously changes due to COVID and other things. So how excited were you guys to be a part of this season and be able to do the going through the airport drama and the U-turn and the express pass and all these kind of elements back that are really just the heart of Amazing Race?
When we found out that it was going to go back to the traditional Amazing Race, we were, I think, literally jumping for joy. I think we were jumping around our hotel room when we found that out.
It's one of our strengths.
Exactly.
Is like navigating airports and being able to like find ways to like get shorter layovers or make sure connecting cities are right and always so like that's something that we knew was a strength of ours. So when we found out commercial flights were coming back, we were like really juiced up.
Yeah, our leisure travel, like a Joe and Ian vacation is not a typical Joe and Ian vacation. Our friends actually run scared from them. But we love kind of getting to these weird, bizarre, remote places. In order to do that, you kind of have to piece together all of these logistics to make it work.
Yeah.
And we've done that so many times. And so I think that's definitely a strength of ours. We were so happy that came back.
And part of the love of doing that is like watching the Amazing Race for so many years, right? It's like to get to these really cool places that no one ever gets to. Like, like Lufthansa is not flying into some of these like small towns in India or Vietnam. Like you have to make the effort to get on one of those sleeper buses or to like take a train. And that's something that like we're very familiar with. So getting back to those like modes of transportation was exciting for us.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay, so I have a two-parter question for you. So obviously you were out on leg 5, but you still made it, a few episodes in. So do you feel like competing on the show was worth it? And then the second part is, would you return again if you were ever asked?
Oh, worth it without a doubt.
No question.
No, literally no question. The production team is so amazing on this show, and I can't say that enough. Like both from just like like the duties of their job are like so intense and crazy, and they do it with such poise and ease, but also like the cast and like the creators, Bertram and Elise, are just like, they love the show so much, and that like we love it so much, and it's so fun to experience that love together. So yes, absolutely. Like wouldn't change a thing. Like even if we were first voted out, I still would have done it because it's just such an experience lifetime.
Such a unique experience. Loved absolutely every single second of it. Worth it in every single way. Couldn't agree with Ian more. Would we do it again if we were asked? Without question, that would be the easiest question I would ever answer.
Shout out Bertram and Elise if you're listening. But no, obviously would do it again. Like it was such a great experience. And I think one thing that I would change just for me is I think I did a really good job in some legs, like really taking in the culture and taking in the experience of being in a particular place. Some legs I didn't because I was too stressed out. And looking back on it, I'm like, I should have, like, there were all these shots of like approaching the Pink Palace last night. And I was like, I don't even remember seeing that because I was so amped up and like concentrated on racing. And so I'd probably change that. And I would like to do a second try at it just to kind of experience that a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys, congrats on making it as far as you did in the game. It was wonderful getting to speak with you. And for all of our viewers, continue to tune into The Amazing Race Wednesdays on CBS.